So we were talking, and again, I want the Bnei Torah, I want to know what the Elam HaTorah, what the Das Torah knows about this. This is one of the things that I want to know more about. But my understanding, like I've been saying, and there's no record, there's no account that Rabbi Gamliel ever spoke to Yeshua. So, like, everything that I see, it was people who were Vilda Chayes. It was Yidden who, unfortunately, they weren't exactly going Kefiyat Torah, and that's the Churban happened, and because that was the matzav of Klal Yisrael. So it was. My understanding is that, and Hashem didn't tell me this because there's a lot of things Hashem did tell me. This is not one of them. So I'd like to be corrected. If anyone has any, if anyone could say that no, it was for sure that the Gedolei Hador had the hashpah and they had the rule at that time, please show me and please let me be corrected, and then we could look at it at that point. Okay, so that's one thing to understand about that. There was always Yechidim who, but at that time, who listened to Rabbi Gamliel. I mean, there was a few like that. There was a few that were set apart, but they didn't. And I think that Hashem had a cheshbon with that, and it wasn't as man for the Geula yet. I mean, you have to say that. I mean, as a Yid, you have to say that. Wait a minute. So how are you going to say? So here comes Moshiach, and so this is another thing. I mean, this is a whole topic, a whole conversation, and we have to be guided by Chazal and by Tanakh. We can't make up our own thing, and we have to also ask for Bina. We have to ask for Bina because we can't just take a pasuk. And I understand how this is, and it's very serious and very important. I never take a pasuk or a Chazal and say, well, that's what it says, and that's it. So you have to be mispala for Bina. So Hashem will give understanding for all these things, but I know that the Chazal will lead us to understand about these things. But you could also say it wasn't the time for Geula. I mean, you're going to say, so, I know you see, your questions will also help me because when I initially started to think about the whole thing, so wait a minute, so here you are saying, so Moshiach came, and nobody recognized him, and not only that, but we said he was terrible, he was saying sheker, and we couldn't kill him, we didn't have the authority to kill him, so we tried to get him killed as much as possible. We massared him up because we felt he was a threat to Klal Yisrael. But meanwhile, we were completely wrong for doing that. And so you could say, well, how could Hashem let that happen? What's going on? So the Master, you could say it wasn't the Zman. So Moshiach came, but it wasn't the Zman yet. And there's a Zman. There's a Golus that had to go through. Klal Yisrael had to go through the whole Tikkun. And another thing, I mean, a lot of people have good understanding of what's pshat in Golus, what's pshat in the Tikkun of Golus, what's pshat in, spreading, going around all the world, and going from nation to nation, and going through Otsaris, and finally, Hashem's going to take us out of Golus. So there's a whole, I'm sure there's an understanding for all of this, and I'm looking for that as well. So now, but for whatever reason, I mean, that's how it was. The Klal Yisrael was at a matzav, they didn't recognize him. You're going to say, why didn't the Kehila HaKedosha, Rabbi Gamliel, the Chaverov, and all, Mustama, there was a yeshiva, there wasn't just Rabbi Gamliel, there was other Talmidim, so why didn't Rabbi, and by the way, so Nagdiman recognized him, okay, and Nagdiman went to him at night, because he went to him secretly. Again, I believe there's Yidden in the Kehila who Hashem already speaks to, because he speaks to me through dreams and visions and other things like that, and through just by tefillah, and when I'm in shira v'tishbachas and I'm alone with Hashem or I'm with other people and we're thanking Him and we're singing to Him, so He speaks. And I believe Hashem would speak others in Klal Yisrael also, and that's why I think that there's others who also have heard the voice of Yeshua and who have heard and who have come to believe also. But so Nagdiman went at night, and these people, I believe that at first they would not, until Hashem tells them, until they're mature in their understanding, and they've been changed and they've been perfected and they've seen and gone through and made the adjustment, because it's a big adjustment. It's a big adjustment. It didn't come just in one day. I was very skeptical at first. I was very skeptical because I mean, Klal Yisrael is maminim b'nei maminim, rachmanim b'nei rachmanim, and we have DNA, spiritual DNA from Avraham Avinu, physical DNA. And anybody that comes to Klal Yisrael, even a ger, has the DNA of Avraham Avinu, spiritually. He's a ben Elokim Chaim. Like the Rambam writes about that ger who wrote to him, and the Rambam says, you have a chelik in Klal Yisrael, you could say like Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. So it's amazing. No one has heard about this, and no one speaks about it. In fact, everyone says the opposite of it. How could it be? So it takes adjustment. So Yeshua versteht sich was a Yid. His Talmidim were Yidden, and we're going to have to go into this next time also. But I think, the Talmidim were Yidden. And what happened, there was a bunch of Talmidim, besides just the 12. There was a bunch of them who saw him alive after he was dead. And when they hung him up there, and because they beat him up terribly, that movie showed it pretty good. I mean, the Psukim talk about it in Yeshayahu. They beat him up. And besides, he said, the way that he explained it was, he said he laid his life down. Because he had a koyach from the beginning. He was with Hashem, and just like, and when he came down, he was born, he laid his kavod and the shechina that was just completely like Adam. For example, here's another beautiful thing. Adam Rishon Kodim Achet. The Goyim have no hasaga what it means. Adam Rishon Kodim Achet. They don't understand how the Medrash says that the malachim came to him to sing shira to him. Right? You know that. So the malachim came to him to sing shira. So now you're going to say, wait a minute. He was able to see Misafel, from one side of the world to the other. He was able to see. He saw everything. The Shechina, the Kavod Hashem was with him. He was barely any bit of a goof. There was everything was Ruchniyus. It was Ruchniyus. So knowing that, you see, a thing like that is another example that helps me understand Yeshua. And you're going to say, who is Adam? Well, Adam is what you would call son of God. Hashem created him, right? But there was B'Tselem U'B'Dmus, there was an initial Ben Elokim Chaim, and so that was Yeshua, and so, but he put aside all that glory that he had. He put aside all of the kavod and the shechina and everything, all the light and the ruchnius, everything, and he became just like we are in this generation. Because after the khete, we understand that the whole thing reversed. Because before the khete, there's so much ruchnius, and if you look carefully, Rabbi Tatz explained this, beautifully. If you look carefully, you could see a outline of a body. Kodim Achet. It was kulei ruchnius, kulei kedusha, kulei or. But after the khete, it was pumfaker. After the khete, you could see the guf, and you have to look carefully. You could see the ruchnius in certain places of the body, on the face and the hands. That's why they're exposed. Those are the exposed parts. That's what you could see the shechina. You could see. People know how to look. I don't know what that means, but so with these things also, we have a better understanding. So, and beceause Hashem, next time we'll go in, we'll continue from the point where we're at about the way that he died and the people that saw him and Vaita. And this will show that it was all a Yiddish thing. It was all Yidden. And the whole Goyish thing, it came in later. And we'll see how they messed it all up. Beceause Hashem. Shkoyach.